series of events in my life had knocked me down this hole where I was flooding with adrenaline just at the thought of going outdoors. I was avoiding going outdoors. I was unemployable. Even if I had decided I want to go out there and get a job, I was too nervous to do interviews, too nervous to sit in large groups of people. I was missing family events. There should be no reason for any fear whatsoever, but I was scared to get out the door. I just disappeared back into this fugue, as I think it's described as. A fugue of not partaking in life, not partaking in the world, being totally separate to everything. I was hoping and praying for psychological help through the NHS, and it still didn't happen. A venture trust, who I'd only heard about from looking after kids. Kids who were going a little bit off the rails, up in Scotland, under canvas, where they're actually having to do a lot of things for themselves, and they realise life isn't that little tube they've been living in. And I'd heard of them for that, but I didn't know they did ex-servicemen, or they looked after ex-servicemen. So I was introduced to Sharon, who's one of the one-to-one workers here, one of the outreach workers, and I started to meet Sharon every Wednesday, and this started to be regular, that I would get up and I'd be out of the house on a Wednesday. And because it was up the town, and although I didn't quite notice at first, gradually in busier and busier places, Sharon was getting me used to this outside world again, just on a Wednesday morning. But that in itself made a difference, and I could grab shopping on the way home, you know, and things like that. It was like I'd started to get out again for one day a week. Sharon managed to teach me that these fears were foundless, that I could get out and about, and that I should look to a future. And she kept this right up to the stage 2, which is going out in the wilderness. Now, to get on the train in Falkirk just to come to Stirling, I had my daughter, my granddaughter and Sharon on the phone, all encouraging me to get on this train. But I was absolutely, public transport was one of those things that disappeared when I stopped going out. You know, buses were too busy, trains were too busy. I just started to avoid the world. But I got on that train and I came up here and I sat in a circle with a bunch of other ex-servicemen. Now, we'd all come from various different services. We'd all come from various different paths of life in Civilian Street. And different things had happened to all of us. However, we all seemed to be in that same place, or some very similar place, where we're pumped, the adrenaline was in us, there was fear there, or in some cases the trigger wasn't fear and anxiety, but violence. So we were all in this kind of same place for different reasons. I thought this was not going to work. Soaking wet. I managed to stay dry, and I was warm that night, although I didn't sleep very much. And the next morning with this frost on the ground, it was just unbelievable that this could help. So I wanted to go home. A couple of really nice guys talked me into staying and giving it a chance to see what it was we were doing. It was a combination of an education from other ex-servicemen, when I hadn't been with ex-servicemen for so long, and I think they were maybe getting the same buzz, and the XT teams, and the wilderness itself, and the weather, as cold and rough as it was, all worked together in this kind of magic brew. Coming back off the course, we were all bouncing. We all felt about 4 inches taller. We'd all got our confidence back, the whole group. We've all got so much better. It's a very well crafted, well worked out and well thought out idea, and it's performed by really, really clever, positive minded training people. Civilian employers might not understand just how many skills you have being an ex-soldier, therefore don't make use of them. But Venture Trust gave those skills, reminded us of those skills. Since Venture Trust, because I've got to be organised at home to be here for work, that organisation and that cheerful, bright outlook that I've picked up here has carried home. My neighbours can see a difference. They've actually stopped me on the street and say, "What's been up with you the last 3 weeks? We've seen you pop in and out the door." And, you know, so if your neighbours notice that you're better, and if the family all notice that you're better, This fear of going out that was keeping me there is gone now. I have this lovely bunch of 4 children, and I've got 5 grandchildren with another on the way. I couldn't give all that up. If they're in that place and they need that hand, that help, right, I would recommend for every ex-serviceman to be able to do this. It really does work. I'm not reinvented, I am not the new Jim. I am the old Jim back again, right? And it feels good.